Hello, I'm Daniel Hemstock, and this is my Applied Management Practice presentation on my development from my Block B module up until now and continuing into the future. From my self-reflection throughout Block B, I recognise that in order to successfully develop into a business manager, I had to develop certain skills which were not at their desired level. I completed a personal development plan to help me work towards developing these skills, giving my development structure along with making it easier to measure my progress against. From my reflection, I recognised that I had to significantly improve my spreadsheet skills such as using Excel. I was not confident at all using this program, and with how competitive the graduate jobs market is, especially in my area of business, I knew that to make myself more employable, I had to become more proficient using Excel, so I used this as the first and main objective on my PDP. Block B also confirmed that I needed to improve my stress management, as this was something that I had struggled with managing for years, so I set about managing my stress better as my second objective. Reading through job specifications, I saw I needed to improve my creativity as a lot of employees were looking for this skill. I believe that I was lacking. So to make myself more employable, especially regarding marketing roles, I used creativity as another of my skills needing development. Finally, through my first year and earlier second year experiences, I realised that if I want to give myself the best chance of getting a first class, I needed to work on managing my time better, so this was my last development target. So my first and main development target was to improve my spreadsheet skills, e.g. Excel. To help me develop my Excel skills, I worked through an Excel manual I found on Skills for Learning. This manual walked me through the basic functions of Excel and how to use them. Working through this manual helped me re-familiarise myself with Excel, as well as teaching me extra functions I was unfamiliar with, such as other uses for autofill, e.g. auto average, and further uses of charts and data, such as sparklines. Through the completion of this manual, I recognised that while familiarising myself with Excel's functions, I now had to apply these functions to my module and my degree. I tracked my progress by having a practice Excel workbook, which I used to work myself through the manual. Attached are a couple of screenshots of this workbook, showing how each new day on the task was a new page. Alongside this, I kept a written log of my progress throughout the manual, so I had the workbook supplemented by my own notes of what I was doing and learning as I worked my way through it. In doing this, I realised that when I'm in the process of learning something, I should continue to keep a log of my progress, as it allows me to easier reflect on my experiences later on. After completing the manual, with the help of my progress documents, I completed a Gibbs reflective cycle based on my experience with the manual. Completing this manual taught me a lot about other functions within Excel. I re-familiarised myself with functions I had been taught earlier in my education but had forgotten, as well as learning a lot of other useful functions. While I achieved my target of improving my ability using Excel, I realised I now had to actually apply these functions to my degree. Excel is part of my data analytics module, so in order to get the most out of my degree and maximise my employability, I'm adapting this target for my revised PDP so that I specifically work on improving my proficiency with course-related Excel skills working through my data analytics module. So for my second personal development target, which was improving my stress management, I researched ways to manage stress, and I ended up finding stress busters on the NHS website, which are activities and changes that can help reduce stress levels. I read through these and then reflected on myself regarding where I currently stand with these stress busters and incorporating them into my daily life. From the list, I highlighted which stress busters I would focus on incorporating more to better combat my stress, with my two main changes being to be more realistic on what I can actually achieve in a time period, and to always think in a positive manner. While I recognise that these two changes will be the most beneficial, I recognise that the other stress busters will also greatly help should I incorporate them, such as allowing myself more free time and leisure time, as well as stopping smoking as my form of stress relief. Using these 10 stress busters in gap analysis, I analysed my current state and the extent to which I currently use these stress busters and incorporate them into my life. I found there was a lot I was not doing and therefore could be doing to better improve my stress management. I created a plan of action, highlighting where I would realistically work on improving in red text. I use these stress busters to better manage my stress levels, ultimately leading me to feel less negative about a lot of situations, instead remaining calm and composed through positivity. To supplement this, I watched a TEDx talk available on YouTube on managing stress, using notes from this video to support the findings made from my stress buster research. So for my third objective, which was time management, through reflecting on my current and desired states, I realised that I have poor time management, specifically in balancing my university work with my part-time jobs. To try and better keep on track with my tasks and deadlines, where possible, I created time logs detailing what I had done for that day for easy reflection, as well as upcoming plans for the next day. These plans helped me remember what tasks I had to do, while planning them in a timed manner helped me use my time more effectively. By creating these daily logs and plans, I realised that I do not need to do one every single day, but to make one when learning something and being made aware of a task or a piece of work needing completion, as it makes reflection a lot easier. Here are some screenshots of my daily logs covering 3 separate days, in which I note what situation I have learnt or experienced that day which is relevant to me and my personal development. There is also proof of me planning. There is a planner made on Tuesday the 4th of May, as well as a reminder to complete a Gibbs reflective cycle for my peer in the seminar activity. Normally, I would not plan what tasks I need to do, instead trying to remember what I have learned and what I need to do, which is what has previously led me to forgetting to do tasks, which has caused work overloads and ultimately stress. By planning what needs to be done, I am better making use of my time and ensuring that the tasks are noted and therefore stand a greater chance of getting completed on time. So for my fourth and final personal development target, which was creativity, I set out to develop this through my job at Morrison's. There is always something happening at work, but most commonly it is new promotional lines being sent in and being sent unranged stock, which we then have to integrate into the shelf spaces, which is taken up by our ranged stock. I've been observing the changes as they are made, occasionally asking questions of managers so I understand their thought process behind integrating the unranged and promotional stock. Despite this, I am not satisfied with my progress towards this target. In my new personal development plan, I will continue to work on improving my creativity. I am focused on developing this because, as a future business manager, I need to improve my ability at suggesting useful as well as practical ideas. And while I have been observing and occasionally asking, I have done little suggesting and presenting yet. Through my continuous observations at work regarding promotional end changes, I thought my creativity had improved by a decent enough margin to write the target as complete and select a new development target. However, in a seminar with Jane in Block C, where we had a drawing task, I became disengaged as I saw no relevance to my course and saw it as wasting my time attending. However, instead of leaving the seminar, I stuck with it and ultimately learned the meaning behind it, which was creativity. This made me realise that my creativity, when given verbal instruction, is below my desired standard, as I had massively struggled with this drawing activity, making it so that I was not even able to complete it, therefore unable to participate in providing feedback. Because of this experience, I kept creativity as a target I would continue to work on developing in my revised PDP, improving my efforts to improve it further. Based on my efforts in reaching my development targets outlined in my original personal development plan, along with my learning experiences since then, I have created a new development plan designed on furthering my development into the future. While I had achieved my target of improving my Excel skills, I knew to stand a better chance of my target grade of a first, and to make me even more employable, I needed to apply these skills to my data analytics module. This makes my development now relevant to my course instead of leaving it simply being satisfied knowing how to use the Excel program. A seminar chat with Jane inadvertently taught me that improving my confidence and ability with virtual interviews would be a good target in giving me a better chance of future interview success. This experience, recorded through my daily log, made me realise that virtual interviews are here for the long term, therefore I needed to improve my ability with them. Despite my efforts to improve my creativity through continuous observation at work, I realised it was still not at my desired level and that it could still hold me back from jobs requiring or preferring creative candidates. Therefore, I would continue to work towards improving it. And while I am confident with basic numeracy, I have little knowledge when it comes to statistics and how they are used and measured. And these may be desired by the ideal candidate for a manager role for example, in a financial area. I self-reflected, and to give myself more knowledge for the future, as well as supporting the maths involved in the spreadsheet tasks I've already completed, I used improving my statistical knowledge as my last development target for the future. With greater proficiency and knowledge, hopefully making me more competent in the future presented with statistics, whether if for my course or in the workplace. I chose these review dates because while I have a placement secured for a 13th of July start, I have another I'm at the final interview stage of with a mid-September start, which is my preferred placement choice. So I've used this approximate starting date for this placement for my review dates. Thank you for listening to my presentation on my development from my Block B AMP module up until now and continuing long into the future.